Hello students, this is Ms. Vithlani. I'm recording this video to explain the purpose and give you some directions and guidance for the research topic outline assignment. Now before we start talking about the outline assignment specifically, let's first talk about what is this all about, what is this paper about, the bigger picture. You have a full research paper due towards the end of the course, and before you go off on your own and do the research paper, we want to make sure that the topic that you choose is appropriate, the diversity related variables that you'll be using in that topic are related. And so that's why let's first talk about the bigger picture. So usually when you log in, you go click on content. You usually would click on learning units and modules. That's where you find your PowerPoints, your quizzes, and the other assignments. Well, if you scroll further down, you'll see a folder called research related materials. When you click on the research related materials, you'll see all the resources that you need for this assignment posted. The one that I want to start off talking about is the guidelines for research project. This document, it is long, I understand. However, that specific document tells you everything you need to know about this research paper. It starts off with some background information. So let's talk about the background information, right? Now, if you remember from chapter 1, majority of the names in psychology, Wilhelm Wundt, Edward Titchener, William James, Abraham Maslow, and then we had Carl Rogers, Margaret Washburn. Any and every name you may recall are basically European white males. Those are the early scientists that conducted research in the field of psychology, and then we generalized the findings to pretty much the entire population. However, there's limited knowledge about how diversity related variables influence the way we think, the way we behave, and the way we process emotions. And when I say these diversity related variables, gender, ethnicities, sexuality, disability, age, or some unfamiliar cultural practices, those things are not incorporated in our understanding of behavior. So in this particular project, you're going to take a topic that interests you and explore it from the diversity lens, right? So in order to prepare for this big paper, there's several steps that you need to do, including being able to find resources using the library. So how you do that, there's some information for you in this document. But let's first start. You first need to take a topic in psychology that interests you, okay? And this could be anything. We give you a few topics over here to pick from. Suppose you pick, for example, the one that I really like as an example is COVID-19, okay? I know COVID-19 is not directly related to psychology, but it does have an impact. So if suppose you picked your topic as COVID, or suppose you picked your topic to be depression. Let's pick depression because that's directly related to psychology, okay? So when you look at depression, that's the topic you choose, right? When you go do some background information search, you want to tell me a little bit about what we already know about the topic. What is depression? What are the signs and symptoms? What are the available treatments? Some background information. Why is this topic important? Okay? And what do we already know about this topic? Well, the next thing you want to do is you're going to pick 3 diversity related variables and explore it. So if I was a woman and I was fighting depression, my outcomes, my treatment options, everything would be very different from somebody who is not a woman. So somebody who does not identify as a woman, it would be very different. For somebody who's a teenager versus somebody who's an adult with health insurance, for example. Anyways, so somebody who's from the lower socioeconomic status versus somebody from the higher socioeconomic status. This is how poor or rich they are. somebody who is highly educated versus somebody who has limited educational background, somebody who identifies as bisexual, and compare them to somebody who does not identify as bisexual. How does depression affect each one of these individuals? So you want to find 3 diversity related variables. You can pick your own or pick 3 out of this list, and you want to individually explore what is the impact of that diversity related variable on the topic of your interest. So what is the impact of age on depression? How does age affect depression? How does a person's race affect depression, for instance? How does a person's ethnic background, cultural practice affect how depression is viewed or what treatments are available to them? Some relation, okay? So then we give you some examples of what we mean by intersection or interaction, right? And then for the actual paper, you need a lot more, but for the outline, I'm not asking you everything. For now, we need to figure out that the topic that you've selected is the right topic for you and it's a good topic. So again, you're going to find the research topic outline guidelines. So first thing you do is you pick your topic that you're interested in. We said depression. And then you give me the background, a little bit about what is it, where did it originate, how do we know anything about it, signs, symptom, causes, treatment options, anything, some background information. For the purpose of this outline, you can make it brief, but for the bigger paper, you'll have to add more details. But for now, keep it brief. This is what depression is. This is what we know about it. It's important because it affects so many people. And give me that information specifically based on your research. When you say it affects so many people, be specific. How many people does it affect? And make sure you include the appropriate in-text citation as to where you found that information. So that's your history and background. Next, you're going to find those 3 diversity related variables that interest you, right? And you're going to do some background research. You'll have to be very patient because you'll have to do multiple searches for this. So in your search, you'd look up how depression, what's the relationship between depression and race, depression and second diversity related variable like socioeconomic status, depression and third diversity related variable such as sexual orientation. Do individual research, and for the outline, briefly describe what you found and include the appropriate in-text citation. Okay, so here again we give you examples, and then lastly, tell me where your reference. You need 5 references, 5 academic references. These cannot be Google searches. These cannot be like VeryWellMind or Wikipedia or Psych Central or all these Google search results. That's not what I'm looking for. You need to find journal articles, books, and other resources that are academically sound. You would have to use perhaps a library for conducting that research, and shortly I'll show you how you can do that as well. So anyways, and then you put those references in the correct APA format. When you turn in your outline, all I'm looking for you to respond to is these 5 questions. You can answer them here, but only turn in this section. Don't turn in the instructions. Okay, so your research topic along with the 3 diversity related variables. So for this example, I said depression and interactions with sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, and race. My background history. Again, for this outline, keep it brief, but make sure it's based on research and include the appropriate in-text citation. Then 3 sentences of how each of your diversity variable intersects with your topic with the appropriate in-text citation. And then your 5 references. That's all I'm looking for this outline. Okay, so in the last couple more minutes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just walk you through how you can locate these peer-reviewed library resources. There's many resources available to you out there, but basically when you go to CCBC, CCBC's homepage, you can click on library. Once you click on library, it may, if you're off campus, it'll ask you to log in, but you log in using your same CCBC credentials as you do to log in to Brightspace. You click on articles and databases, and then I would click on P and scroll down to psychology journals. Okay, you have a lot of options, but psychology journals is what we're looking for. So click on advanced search. That way you can put in several keywords. So depression is your main topic, and then the other keyword that you're looking for is socioeconomic status, for example, right? Socioeconomic class, status, whatever. But since I'm asking for you to find articles in the last 10 years, make sure you find something that's after 2012, for example. Well, 2011 is fine too. I'll accept that. So anything after 2011 is what we're looking for, and make sure you limit it to full text, otherwise it's going to give you just a summary, and that's not going to be enough. Then you hit search. When you hit search, it's going to give you a lot of results, so you make sure it's peer-reviewed. That makes it more academically sound. You could limit results by other factors, but see what fits your needs. And then wealth and depression, a scooping review. That's a great article because it's quite recent, and it's going to give you exactly what you're looking for, how person's depression is linked to their socioeconomic status. Like maybe the treatment available to them, the way they respond to treatment, the resources available to them, all those factors, right? So suppose we pick that article. I apologize for that. Suppose we pick that article. You can click on full text PDF and download it, or you can read through the full text over here. Most of the time, the information that you are looking for is going to be discussed in their discussion section. Usually first they'll set up what they're looking to find, then they'll go study it, and then they're going to summarize the results for you in the discussion section, and then draw their conclusions in the conclusions section. So I'm scrolling down right now to find, you see you go past all the findings. Observational studies, a little bit more about what they did, how they did it. Discussion. Discussion is where they summarize their findings, okay? And so that's really where you're going to find the results that you're looking to include in your paper. All right, and then you have to remember I said cite it in the correct APA format. Well, when you click on these quotation marks that say cite, you click on that, it gives it to you in the APA format. You can just copy this and paste it into your Word document. But for your in-text citation, make sure that you put the author's last name, author's last names, and the year of publication. So that's really all I'm asking you to do. I know I make it sound simple, but be patient with yourself. It's going to take you a little minute to do this. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. It's due on Sunday, but I would do it sooner. If you have questions, I'm not available on the weekends. So if you need to reach out to me, you should be able to reach out to me sooner. So, all right. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. All the best. Take care.